What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about features Among Us must add. Now, I say in 2020, I want these as soon as possible, but in reality, these are some things that are the most upfront things I want to see from this game. Some of them are pretty darn obvious. Some of them actually left out because they were so obvious, but we're going to start here, and then, of course, we can go in the future. If you guys like this video, I can absolutely do more. I know I've seen a lot of people give some really good suggestions, and again, I actually have more than just this, but I wanted to give you guys, I believe, 5 of them for this video. I can do more in a future video. I've also been doing Let's Plays of this game. If you guys haven't checked that out, we're going to try and do a little bit more Among Us stuff every so often on this channel. So if you guys like that, like this video, if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. We're getting very close to 40,000 subscribers. Help us reach it there. And again, we're going to provide you guys a lot more Among Us videos going forward. Even, by the way, as this game eventually will lose some steam, I do still want to support a game like this, especially a game that will eventually add some things. So here's the deal. We've talked about Among Us 2. We've talked about the Among Us coming to consoles. So we've already had some discussions. We know what they were originally thinking about doing with Among Us 2. We know what they are talking about doing with the first Among Us, right? We've talked about basically all of those things in past videos. Now, again, order, what's the order going to be? We know servers are obviously on the top of their mind, but here's some things in my mind, and we'll go into depth in all of them as to what I think they need to add to this game. Friends list. Now, this maybe isn't the number one thing they need to add to this game, but a friends list would be pretty darn good. Now, whether this is for Steam or whether this is for consoles, I do think a friends list, somewhere of finding, who's active in this game, some way of even inviting people into this game would be a good idea. I think as you're seeing online, as you see people like Mr. Fruit, Ohm, Delirious, all these guys play it, I mean, yeah, they have big groups. There are ways of getting big groups of people together for a game like this, but to have a system where you could have a friends list put together, I think would be really cool. It seems like a very, very requested feature, and I believe they've even talked about this one as something they want to do, so not all that surprising. The other thing that's not all that surprising is the in-game voice chat. So this is what would be the most difficult thing of them all. It really, really would. Obviously, this game was not really built with that very much in mind. I don't know why it wasn't, and obviously, again, there's only so many people. There's only 3 people that made this game. But again, if we talk about where it is right now, or if we talk about it coming to consoles, to have an in-game party chat is difficult. We talked about the difficulties of the console, of do you use the actual basically party chat ecosystem that PlayStation has, that Xbox has. Do you do that? Do you use party systems for Steam? How do you do that, right? Do you just allow anybody to talk? You have to find a way to make it able if you don't want to talk, which, that is a big issue, right? Why go into the mode? I guess if you're not already playing it on mobile, why go into it? Why play it when then you're just not able to talk? Everybody can pretty much talk into their PC, right? I think we're all at that age, or we have a microphone, or we have some sort of headset that can pick up audio. Everybody, I think, would be very able to do that, but again, it's the line of who wants to, who actually feels comfortable putting their voice out there. I get it. I get that not everybody is comfortable, and that is a big issue standing in the way in this, but come on. When you look at a game like this, again, I get it. There's only 3 people that made the game. The game is obviously absolutely blew up over the last couple months, but at the same time, this is a game that works the best because of a system of when you talk. That's why cartoons, Mr. Fruit, Ohm, all these guys all these videos are so big. It's because you have this dynamic between all of these different people on the party chat. You absolutely need that. Now, they do it again through Discord. I do it through Discord, but I think they really need to. If there's anything that's number 1, this is obviously number 1. Number 3 is roles. Roles, I think, are very, very important. Now, again, they talked about this with Among Us 2. They talked about how they are going to be adding more roles to the game, but then when they mentioned the stuff going into Among Us 1, now they said all the stuff they had planned for 2 is going in 1. So I guess you could say, okay, well, they were planning on roles, so roles will be added. But when they went into more specifics with the things, they didn't mention roles. So I think that's later on down the line in terms of like 2020. I don't think that's going to end up happening. Maybe I think they really need to try and get at least like 1 to 2 of these things out in 2020, capitalize on the popularity of this game. If you let these things go on too long, it could ironically, it could actually crash and become just not popular anymore. Honestly, I don't wish for that to happen. I don't want that to happen, but it is definitely possible. So when we're thinking about how to expand it going forward, again, there's things you have to do now. There's things you can do later to constantly add to this game. Roles to me are important, and it goes back to what I said just in that very, very first video I did for Among Us. The thing that I love about Mafia, at least the way I play Mafia or the way that I see other people play Mafia too, is the added roles to the game. You can go overboard. It's definitely possible to go overboard, and we'll talk about it. I do want to have maybe a specific video where I talk about roles they could add to this game, but for now, I think just roles in general. I've seen people say, like, a medic would be kind of difficult, right? Because the issue with this game is you're talking, and once you're dead, you're not allowed to talk anymore. And really, once you're in the game itself, you can't talk. So there are some issues with that, where like in Mafia, if you save somebody overnight when you're the nurse, nothing really happens. It's like, it's as if literally nothing happened during the nighttime when you go into the day. But for a game like this, how do you make that work? I've seen people say maybe there's ways of like you can move the body. That would be a I don't have that even on the list, but that is a phenomenal idea, by the way, being able to move the body. That way you can maybe place it in an area that it wasn't, already. There are some really good ones, but I think roles are important. At least 1 to 2 roles. And again, we can talk about specific roles going forward in other videos. Number 4 is the consoles. So again, this is not happening in 2020. I just absolutely don't see any way with it. Going next gen too provides some difficulties too, right? Because then it's like, well, do you just do it for PS4 and Xbox One? That doesn't make a lot of sense. You'd probably have to do it for next gen as well. And to get this on console, I think, to not get it on console, let's say, would be a massive missed opportunity. You have millions of people on consoles that, look, there's all kinds of different gamers, right? There's people that play all kinds of different games. We don't really have a game on consoles like Among Us, if you think about it. Now, again, if it works really well, if you have the party system involved, and you put that on PlayStation, you put that on Xbox, I think, would get truly, I think it would honestly be like a Fall Guys thing. Fall Guys, we know, remember the other massively popular game of 2020, Fall Guys sold like insane, I think almost 10 million units. Now, they didn't sell because it was a PlayStation Plus free game, but Fall Guys did incredible on PlayStation. Small game, small team, small game in general, and it did absolutely incredible. I could see if Among Us makes its way to consoles, I could see the game getting 10, 15, like that, like really in the millions, that many million players. I really, really could see it. I could see this game, if you want to say, if there's a way of them to say, all combined, like people playing on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, it could get 10, 15, 20 million people playing it. I truly, truly do believe that. So it's something I do think needs to happen. I think if you really want to take this thing to the next level, it's something that needs to happen, but I do understand truly how difficult, because we had an entire video on it. I understand how difficult something like that would be. It is really, really hard. And the 5th thing, this is probably the most off-the-board thing, but I did see this. A couple people mentioned this in different comments, and I tried to look at some comments to give me some ideas. One thing I've seen, and I've also kind of noticed when I watch like cartoons and play, I think they even talk about it as well, is having different chat rooms for your group. So when you're dead, you have a chat room. When you're a killer, you have a chat room. Now, this takes the chat rooms that are already insanely difficult and already just something that the game doesn't have and amplifying it, right? So this is not something I would expect soon. This is honestly not something I truly would expect at all, because again, when you think of consoles, they'd have to develop the chat system. They'd have to figure out how all of that works. That would already be hard enough for them to then say, okay, well, you're going to have the chat where everybody can talk, and then obviously you don't talk at certain times and you talk at others. But then, besides that, well, the 2 killers, well, they're going to have their own thing where they can talk to each other while they're playing, but nobody else can hear them. And then, also, you're going to have the dead people, when you're ghosts, they can talk to each other, and not the alive people or the killers can hear them. That becomes a lot. In fact, there's not even games I can think of that do something like that. I'm not a game designer. I don't know anything about that, but that already sounds complicated, and I don't know all the intricacies of it. Okay, so that one is off the board. That one, look, it would be cool. It would be cool that the killers could absolutely coordinate. At the same time, I feel like there's something kind of special to the killers not always knowing what the other one is going to do, right? Maybe you do a kill, like a bad kill, at a time, and maybe you have to kind of gang up on a different person so that you two two don't go down, right? It's kind of part of the fun of this game where the killers sometimes don't know what the other one's doing. So it would be, I think, something that would be cool to have, absolutely, but not something necessary. And again, I know people have been saying modes. There's all these different modes. We've seen Delirious. We've seen cartoons, all of them doing all these different kind of like meta game or like games inside this game, right, to kind of make it a little bit more exciting. They could absolutely do things like that. Again, we'll talk about those in future videos. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What do you think about my list? What is your list? Do you have things that you want added to this game? Any other Among Us videos you want us to do? Let me know. And again, I try to do Let's Plays. I started that up actually this past week. We'll have another one hopefully next week as well. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribing, hitting the bell so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, Podcast Now 15, we have a Discord. If you guys want to meet new people there, we have people in Discord that are trying to play the game as well, so you could join our Discord. I also have a second channel, Podcast Now Plus, so lots of different ways of supporting me if you guys want to, and I would truly, truly appreciate it, okay? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.